Tape 10, Side B. You are now going to hear a story utilizing all the dynamic vocabulary you have just learned. You should plan to listen to the story 3 times. The first time, just follow the story and its characters. I will read the story at a casual pace so you can follow easily. Then, rewind to the beginning of the story and listen a second time. Once you know what the story is about, you'll be better able to concentrate on the context, how, where, and in what situation the word is used. The third time you listen to the story, be prepared to read along in your workbook. Then, complete the exercise in your workbook that corresponds to this story by filling in the blank spaces with either the actual word or one of its synonyms. Ready? Let's begin. This story is entitled, My Neighborhood. No one from our neighborhood went to college or even got a white-collar job. Success had nothing to do with school, and the only achievement that mattered was in sports. Youth and adolescence were one long hazing by the older boys, and you proved yourself a man with vainglorious bouts of debauchery and chicanery. No mama's boy could remain inviolate. No Pollyanna could survive in such surroundings. So, although I came to our block an exemplary boy from an abstemious family, my bovine nature was quickly blighted. I acquired the mandatory neighborhood patina, helot to the older boys, inscrutable to my parents, and puerile and crazy with boys my own age. There were 2 exceptions to these strict rules of conformity. One was Bernard, an older boy, who was afraid and sensitive behind the obligatory mask of machismo. At weekend bacchanals he sipped 1 beer and remained watchful and sober, while his peers drank heavily and grew slothful and inane. As they sank into stupefaction, the expletives multiplied and the fractiousness increased. Before our role models collapsed in a complete torpor, choleric outbursts, gratuitous violence, and all means of motley shenanigans would occur. Bernard's golden tongue would transform this porcine behavior into heroic adventures. He would translate drunken and repugnant gibberish into witty declamations. Other boys might try to impress with unctuous canards, but Bernard was a raconteur of rare perspicacity and the official chronicler of neighborhood history. The other exception to strict discipline was Sam, older than me, but still considered one of the younger boys. Sam embodied the neighborhood ethic with such ebullience and panache that everyone else seemed paltry and nebulous shadows in comparison. Although Sam was being schooled in the libertine didactics of the neighborhood, we all knew instinctively that he would outgrow it and move into the company of betters. There was an ineffaceable nobility and sweetness about Sam that allowed him immunity to act with impunity. A justified reproof sounded sanctimonious when directed at Sam. Even adults knew this and kept their rebukes terse. Years passed, and it seemed as though nothing could blunt Sam's auspicious ascent to neighborhood stardom. But a strange thing happened. Sam began to usurp the role of protagonist in all of Bernard's stories, consigning the older boys to the role of laggards. Naturally, they took affront at this reversal of the rules, and soon the harmonious zephyrs that blew over our neighborhood were rent by this dichotomy. The older boys struck back by banishing Sam to the anomie of an outcast, but it didn't work. Bernard's influence combined with Sam's natural éclat attracted half the kids to his camp. The impossible had occurred. The immutable order of the neighborhood universe was overthrown, never to rise again. I escaped the destiny of an ignorant rough, and under the tutelage of Bernard, became the writer I am today. After you have listened to this story twice, continue the audio portion of the tape to finalize your mastery of these words. Listen and repeat each of the following words and their synonyms. Let's begin. Affront. Outrage. Indignity. Disparagement. Anomie. Purposeless. Aimless. Rudderless. Bacchanal. Carousing. Merrymaking. Debauching. Bovine. Dense. Thick. Obtuse. canard. Hoax. Fabrication. Invention. Chicanery. Deceit. Fraud. Guile. Debauchery. Excesses. Depravity. Wickedness. Dichotomy. Separation. Partition. Dissension. Eclat. Brilliancy. Reputation. Prestige. Expletive. Outburst. Obscenity. Profanity. Gibberish. Babble. Chatter. Prattle. Helots. Slave. Chattel. Vassal. Immunity. Exemption. Protection. Security. Laggard. Dawdler. Loiterer. Malingerer. Machismo. Power. Strength. Verve. Motley. Assorted. Mixed. Sundry. Panache. Flair. Brilliance. Prowess. Perspicacity. Keenness. Discernment. Astuteness. Pollyanna. Gullible. Trusting. Ingenuous. Raconteur. Narrator. Chronicler. Reporter. Reproof. Blame. Charge. Condemn. Stupefaction. Daze. Incapacitation. Paralysis. Torpor. Inertia. Inaction. Stupor. Usurpation. Confiscation. Expropriate. Trespass. Zephyr. Breeze. Gust. Draft. Abstemious. Temperate. Moderate. Level-headed. Auspicious. Confident. Triumphant. Victorious. Blighted. ruined, dissolved, eliminated, choleric, volatile, rude, irascible, didactic, teaching, schooling, education, ebullient, excited, vivacious, effervescent, exemplary, model, ideal, irreproachable, fractious, unruly, resistant, quarrelsome, gratuitous, groundless, unjustified, unreasonable, inane, pointless, absurd, ludicrous, ineffaceable, indelible, unalterable, unreasonable, inscrutable, mysterious, inexplicable, enigmatic, inviolate, pure, sacred, protected, libertine, depraved, corrupt, licentious, mandatory, essential, indispensable, required, nebulous, obscure, unclear, ambiguous, paltry, inferior, imperfect, flawed, porcine, swinish, hog-like, base, puerile, infantile, childish, sophomoric, repugnant, repellent, revulsive, offensive, sanctimonious, pious, reverent, devout, slothful, idle, unconcerned, indolent, terse, sparse, succinct, brief, unctuous, slick, smooth, sophisticated, and vainglorious, conceited, boastful, pretentious, Now you will learn how to unlock the meanings of words by acquiring root word keys derived from Latin and Greek. From the common to the extraordinary, root words will permit you to easily decode thousands of words in the English language. Let's proceed. The root pro, P-R-O, means forward, fourth. Association. The basketball player was the fourth to come forward to the pros. Pro, forward, fourth. Profundity, having great knowledge of his subject, deep, intense. He began to explore the profundity of a monk's lifestyle. Proscribe, to forbid by law. His doctor proscribed cigarettes as the remedy. Prolific, one who produces a large number of children or writings. He was a prolific writer and wrote as many as 3 books a year. Provocative, voc meaning to call out, arousing interest or anger deliberately. She was disturbed by the provocative headline in the morning paper. Pro, forward, or fourth. The root pre, P-R-E, means before. Association. The number pre comes before 4. Pre, before. Precocious, showing abilities earlier than is usual. His adult manner of discussing serious topics was evidence that the child was precocious. Predilection, special liking. Although the artist used various media, he had a predilection for charcoal. Predisposition, influence in advance, inclination to show favoritism. She had a predisposition to allergy attacks. Presentiment, a foreboding, feeling before. Hamlet felt a presentiment about his meeting with his nemesis. Pre means before. The root apo, A-P-O, means away or from. Association. Take the apple away from the dog. Apo, A-P-O, means away or from. Apogee, the highest or most distant point. When the moon is farthest away from the earth, it is at its apogee. Apology, expressing regret for having done wrong or hurt someone's feelings. His apology was made and accepted. Apostate, renouncement of one's religion or political party. Because he switched from one high school to another, his former friends shunned him as an apostate. Apotheosis, theo meaning God, deified ideal. The apotheosis of a Roman emperor was designed to ensure his eternal greatness. Apo means away from. The root ante, A-N-T-E, means before. Association. Picture the 4 bumblebees landing on ante. Ante means before. Antebellum, before the Civil War. Characteristic of the antebellum era was sprawling plantations and slave trading. Antecedent. Preceding thing or circumstance. The antecedent to television was radio. Antedate. To precede in time. The Roman civilization antedates the medieval period by more than a millennium. Antediluvian. Of the time before the flood. Noah was an antediluvian patriarch. Ante, meaning before. The root luce, L-U-C, means light. Association. He looked up and saw the light was loose. Luce, L-U-C, means light. Elucidate. E meaning out, literally to throw light on a matter, to make clear. He was called upon to elucidate the objectionable points in his article. Lucent. Shining or luminous. The moon's lucent rays silvered the river. Lucid. Easy to understand. Clear. His explanation was lucid and to the point. Pellucid. Very clear. After reading these stuffy philosophers, I find his pellucid style very enjoyable. Luce means light. Now let's review these new root words. Pro means forward, forth. Pre means before. Apo means away, from. Ante means before, A-N-T-E. Loose means light. The root ten or tent means to hold. Association. He is holding the tent with 10 fingers. 10, tent, means to hold. Contentious. Quarrelsome. We heard loud, contentious noises from the next room. Pretentious. Pre meaning before. Something held before, as in something showy, pompous. I do not feel that your limited resources will permit you to carry out such a pretentious program. Tenacious. To hold fast and firmly. I had to struggle to break his tenacious hold on my arm. Untenable. Un meaning not able to be held. I find your theory untenable and must reject it. Tent, means to hold. The root clam or claim, C-L-A-M, C-L-A-I-M, means to cry out, call out, or to declare. Association. The clam cried out for a chocolate declare. Clam, claim, to cry out, call out, declare. Claimant, person who makes a claim in law. The claimant demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was entitled to a judgment. Clamor, to make a loud protest or demand. The audience clamored for another curtain call. Exclamatory, X meaning out, literally to cry out, containing an exclamation. Oh, he shouted in exclamatory surprise. Reclamation, action to recover possession or use of. The plan called for reclamation of the marsh for an airport. Clam, claim, means to cry out, call out, declare. The root rogue, R-O-G, means to ask or beg. Association. The beggar was asking for money on the rug. Rogue, R-O-G, to ask or beg. Abrogate. Ab meaning away or from. Rogue, to ask or beg. Literally, to cancel from or repeal. He intended to abrogate the treaty agreed to by his predecessor. Derogate. To detract from. She wanted to derogate her own role in order to exaggerate his. Derogatory means disparaging. I resent your derogatory remarks. Prerogative. Pre meaning before, a right belonging to a particular person or group. The President has the prerogative of vetoing bills passed by Congress. Rog means ask or beg. The root cur, C-U-R-R, or curs, C-U-R-S, means to run. Association. The two runners cursed the dog running after them. Cur, C-U-R-R, curs, C-U-R-S, to run. Current. In general circulation. Some words are no longer current. Cursive. Writing with joined characters, letters that literally run into one another. I'm proud of you. Your cursive writing ability has improved greatly. Cursory. Hasty, not thorough. A cursory examination of the burned-out building indicates the possibility of arson. Discursive. Rambling from one subject to another. They were annoyed and bored by his discursive remarks. Cur, curs, to run. The root tra, T-R-A, trans, T-R-A-N-S, means across, over, through. Association. The train travels across, over, and through the United States. Tra, trans, means across, over, through. Traduce means to slander. His opponents tried to traduce the candidate's reputation by spreading rumors. Transcendent. Going beyond the limits of ordinary experience. We were awed by the transcendent beauty of the California coastline. Transfix. To render motionless through fear or astonishment. The lion transfixed the children with fear. Translucent, loose meaning light, allows light to pass through, but is not transparent. We could not recognize the people in the next room because of the translucent curtains which separated us. Trans, means across, over, through. Let's review these new root words. Tent, means to hold. Claim, means cry out, call out, declare. Rogue means ask or beg. Curs means to run. Trans means across, over, through. This concludes Tape 10, Side B. Before continuing, please complete the review in your Vocabulary Dynamics workbook. Thereafter, continue with Tape 11, Side A.